This next guy literally just came out of the blue, like in the past few months. You see him in the chat room, you see him trying different patterns, you see him giving good commentary, but only recently have you really seen the results of all of that effort. And so I am proud to introduce you to a guy who has turned 4,000 now into over 230,000 in less than a year. And if he continues to take it one trade at a time and not get too cocky, he will be a millionaire very soon. And it's kind of cool for you to see him at this stage where he's had some success. And so far he's kept a pretty level head. And I'm excited to see what he does in the future. So without further ado, here's Roland Wolf. Everybody stand up.
All it is a means to take care of my family at this point. And I know that I can do this and they'll be safe. Damn.
Roland Wolf.
What's up, guys? I'm Roland Wolf. And I would be driving and watching, and I would just do laps around my neighborhood after work. My wife would get upset because it would be like an hour and a half after work, and I'd just be rolling into the driveway. She'd be like, "What have you been doing? What do you do every day?" She asked. I said, "I'm watching DVDs. I'm studying, And so she was a little irked by it, but she understood what I was trying to do, and she saw that I was already having results and that I loved what I was doing.
That's good.
So she's been super supportive.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool. So all of this time that you're studying, are you working? Do you have a job that you're doing?
Not anymore.
But the time that we were talking about as you're
right.
driving around.
Right.
And,
yeah,
and
I
doing all
did.
this.
I mean, I would work 9 to 5, but I worked for my father.
Okay.
And he was pretty flexible. He's a value investor. I mean, traditionally he's always, ETFs and diversified portfolio and steady growth and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just a little bit different because I need more immediate action, I guess you could say. But he really appreciated and was interested in what I was doing, which was helpful. So I would go in early to the office, trade in the morning till 9, and then I would work. And then instead of taking a lunch break, I would do power hour, with the last hour of the day.
Yeah.
And that's when I would take my overnight positions. And so it worked out really well. I mean, that there was flexibility there, that I could trade kind of the most important hours to be trading of the day, which is, the first couple hours and then the last couple hours. So yeah, it was really convenient, but it was still difficult between work and my kids and family and trying to figure this trading thing out.
Yeah.
It was definitely challenging, and I had to adjust my schedule. Everything basically had to be adjusted for this.
Yeah. When did you get to a point where you were able to quit and just do this full time?
I think that was in May of this year.
Okay.
So it wasn't too long ago.
So a couple of months after joining the Millionaire Challenge.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 months after. I was just making far more than I was making at my job.
Yeah.
And it made sense. I mean, I understood that I had kind of a talent for it, I guess you could say. And I was working hard at it, and I was making more money than I've ever made.
Yeah.
In a week I was making more than I had ever made in several months.
Yeah.
Time, or in a day at times now. It's just kind of crazy.
So if I'm getting this right, in the first 4 or 5 months, you made about $30,000 or $40,000. You took $4,000, turned into $30,000 or $40,000.
No. The first, I think between September, I think the first 4 or 5 months I made $4,000.
Oh, $4,000.
So I managed to double my initial investment.
Yeah.
But it was really choppy.
Okay.
It was very inconsistent. I would go on wild swings, and I'd be up however much and then give it all back the same day, or I just had a lot of issues with timing and discipline.
Yeah.
And I just didn't really know what I was doing. And I think that's natural for anyone who just starts trading, because it's not easy. It's really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why most traders fail, because if you just try to jump in and gunsling, it's not going to work out well.
Yeah.
which
So-
I was doing that kind of, you could say.
And got lucky with it.
Really
but
lucky.
stuck with it.
But stuck with it.
Yeah. So then when you joined the challenge, you had made about 30 or 40,000. I think that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Of. So since you've joined the challenge, what have you made?
About $300,000.
$300,000?
Yeah, something like that. Something close to that.
So we're talking about maybe 8-10 months.
Yeah, and then since April, I think.
Yeah.
It just kind of it clicked, and then it just kind of went parabolic, you could say, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's been a whirlwind. Like I don't even feel like that. Like I don't even know how to explain it. Like I don't feel like that's my money or anything like that. It's just I just trade every day, and the amount keeps growing, and the gains keep getting bigger. I think eventually I'll look back at it and say, whoa, like.
Yeah.
But right now I haven't even stopped and thought about it really.
Haven't even taken a breath.
No, I just grind every day, and
Yeah.
and my wife, you know, she every night she's like, come like 1 a.m. She's like, you need to come to bed. It's unhealthy what you're doing, and I tell her like I'm only getting older.
Yeah.
Like this is like I have to do this while I can. You know, I have to grind while I can. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'll take her on vacation soon or something.
Yeah, that'd be good. What has been your biggest success so far in your journey? Is there one trade in particular that stands out to you that, you know, you mentioned that sometimes at work you'd stand up and you'd cheer.
There's been several pretty big trades recently for me. Nothing like gigantic, at least in my eyes. For many people it probably would be, but I've had a couple, you know, $10,000 trades now, or between $10,000 and $15,000 trades.
Yeah.
But it's more for me been a consistency. I think that's been the best achievement for me, is that I've figured out a way to be consistently profitable by the thousands, basically. Like I feel, not in a cocky way, but I feel like I can make at least $1,000 a day, no matter what.
Yeah. Huh.
And that doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't happen. Not all days are green even. There are some days where I do lose money, but for the most part at this point, I feel like I have a pretty good grip on being able to do this for the rest of my life as a living.
Yeah.
Granted, the market conditions have been really favorable with the bull market, but I still feel like no matter what the conditions are, I can still be profitable. So I think that's the best thing that I feel, is that I have stability as a trader, as opposed to luck, or like, you know, just like going all in and making a bunch of money and then losing it all or something like that.
You feel like you've developed the skills for it and you know how to do it now.
Right, and I feel like I'm good at managing my risk. Someone asked me the other day in the chat actually why I'm not sizing up more, and I did think about it, but it's one of those things where, I mean, they're volatile stocks. You know,
Sure.
Some of these move $1, $2 in a couple minutes or in a minute. You know, I mean, it can drop so far so quick. It's scary.
Yeah.
Like it's still scary. So I'm try to be as safe as possible. Like I take quick profits. I take safe profits when I can, and I mean, yeah, I protect myself. Like, and Tim teaches that. You know, Tim, the way he trades as well. I learned a lot from how he traded, which was small and safe. And I think that's part of what's helped me as well.
It's interesting to me to see the different backgrounds of people that are involved in the challenge, and you're a family guy, much like Tim Bowen, and so what you're saying sounds very familiar to what I've heard from him, that you could size up, but you've got a family to support, and that's got to be dictating your strategies. What are some other things that you think are unique about you, or unique about your approach from some of the others that are in this?
It's just a discipline thing for me and a patience thing. I actually grew up doing taekwondo, and I got a second-degree black belt in taekwondo as well. I started when I was 4, and my instructor at the time is Master Mac Newton. He's actually a local here, but talk about discipline. He had, when you walk in, I remember vividly, but when you walk into his studio, the first thing you see is a sign that says House of Discipline, and attitude is everything. And those lessons kind of stuck with me throughout my life, and soccer helped as well. When it comes to discipline and training and working hard, those things are natural for me. Like, that's what I do. Not with everything. Like, certain, you can pay me to do certain things and work hard at them if I don't like it. I think I'm a little ADD or something. But with trading, which I love, it's not work for me. Like, I love researching and I love studying, and that's why my wife has to tell me to come to sleep, late at night, because I am obsessed with it. Like, I can't. It's just how it is for me. So I know that's been helpful. But in terms of trading, I try to be a contrarian, kind of, particularly buying stocks. Like, retail traders, the reason these penny stocks run so much is because the retail traders, particularly the inexperienced ones and the new ones and just the bad ones in general, are chasing these moves up. And they're all greedy and they all don't want to miss a move. So, they buy and buy and buy, and these things get artificially inflated. And a big turning point was when I stopped doing that completely. I don't chase anymore, and I try to look in places where maybe other people are not necessarily looking. I try to find charts that maybe people have forgotten about because they're not running anymore. It's actually Tim's strategy, the first green day on a bounce, and a stock has gone crazy supernova and then gets demolished. It comes all the way back down, and then there's a first green day. I love those plays. I love dip buying. And when I first started trading, the saying used to float around, which was "don't catch a falling knife," meaning when a stock's dropping like that, you don't want to try to jump into that, like Dutch rope it or something, like try to get into it. And I've found personally, one of my personal highest odds play that I do the best in strategy-wise is dip buying panics. Now Tim, he talks about, he mainly dip buys panics on pump and dumps, like OTC pump and dumps, where and he is right about it. It is quite high odds that there's going to be a bounce because the promoter has to try and save it or something to maybe not get too much heat from authorities or something like that. But I, for the most part, will dip buy any panic. Like when I see a stock that's just tanking down, it doesn't really matter what the news is too much. They always bounce because the stocks don't go straight up or straight down. They have to pull back one way or the other eventually.
So when you're saying dip buy, because I'm not familiar with the term, does dip buying involve shorting the stock because it's going down?
No, dip buying means that when others are shorting it and when people are panic selling, you're the guy kind of sitting at the bottom waiting for the bounce. And eventually short sellers are going to have to cover, which means they're going to have to buy back shares to close their position. And at a certain point, because it's just like when stocks are spiking, people are going to want to take profits and it's going to come back down eventually. The short sellers will come in and short the stock. And people who are long the stock will also sell off. And it's kind of like the opposite. It's basically exactly the opposite. I find usually that the panic is more powerful, obviously, but you can always catch a little bit of a bounce here or there. Another thing I like about dip buying is that it gives me a defined risk whenever I enter. If I jump in, if I think the stock's reversing, I can just risk off the bottom of that dip. And if it breaks down below where I thought it was reversing, I was wrong, I can just jump out. And so I find it, as dangerous as everyone feels it is, I find it to be safe. I've had a lot of success with it. It's kind of like, I think Warren Buffett has a quote, not that he trades penny stocks, but that you buy when others are fearful and sell when others are not, the kind of thing, That's not an exact quote, but it's something to that effect. And I find that to be so true, even just day trading penny stocks, and not just penny stocks, but any stocks really.
So what is your advice for people who are getting started in this business?
Educate yourself. Seek out a mentor, seek out an educator who has a good track record, and don't just try to jump in and trade. Like, it doesn't work like that. I know that the money most people will lose could have been spent learning how to trade as opposed to just learning lessons the hard way. I learned quite a few lessons the hard way. I was lucky because the one thing that I did from the beginning was cut losses quickly. And I know that that saved me. The only time I wouldn't is if I was up on a position, I wasn't the best at taking profits. So I would get greedy and hold on to stocks. But no matter what, and I didn't really understand what risk meant, like how to control your risk and how to take position sizes and whatnot. So my whole interpretation of cut losses quickly meant if you start to lose the trade, you cut it, which is not how I do it now. And sure, it kept me from some profits in the beginning, but it also saved me. I know 100% saved me was, if you look at my trades for the first like 6 months, I don't think very rarely did I have a trade where I lost over $100. And so it kept me alive. It kept me afloat until it did click for me. So that's been, I mean, I still do that. A little bit less now. I have more capital, so I have, a little bit of wiggle room here and there, but I still have set risk. I'm just able to let it test a little bit, and I have a little bit more room to play with. But absolutely, when you first start trading, and always cut losses quickly.
Yeah.
Definitely education, because without that, you'll just keep spinning your wheels and losing money, and you'll win money and lose money and be very inconsistent. So for me, I think one of the best things was having a real set schedule of studying and just basically seeking out knowledge all day, every day, and immerse yourself in it. I mean, that was the biggest difference for me, was that at one point I immersed myself in the markets. I watched all day aside from when I was working, but I'd spend a couple hours with my family after work. And then from basically 9 to 1 a.m. every night I was studying. Like, I'd be watching DVDs, going through charts, going through whatever it was that I was watching at the time. I mean, and I still do it because it's just become a habit. Like, if you make it a habit to study all day every day, and to continuously seek to improve, then that's just what you do, and you just get better. I mean, it's not like rocket science, It's just putting work in.
Yeah.
I think it's just like anything in life. Like, if you want something, nothing good really ever comes easy.
Yeah.
And that's true. That saying, I find, is really true.
Do you have some kind of a goal in mind that you've set, that you say, once I make this amount, then I will have made it?
No. Like, even no, I really don't. You know what? For me, it's not even, at this point, it's not about the money, and it's actually not about the money at all. So all it is a means to take care of my family at this point, and I know that I can do this, and they'll be safe.
Yeah.
The only reason the only thing that I think about in terms of money is I would like to make as much as possible, as fast as possible, in case something were to happen to me. That my kids would be safe, my wife would be taken care of. That's the only thing money-wise that I care about, is that my family's okay. But in terms of the rest of it, it's performance-based for me. Like, I'm a very competitive person, and I'm very hard on myself. So, like, I enjoy winning, like, and I enjoy profitable trades. And it's not, like I said, it's not about the amount, but it's just performance. So, like, I'm seeking, and it's kind of like, and that was the same for me in soccer. Like, I mean, there were games where I'd score like a hat trick, like 3 goals or something like that, but I felt like my performance wasn't good enough, like up to par. Just really hard on myself, and I'm kind of a perfectionist. So that's what I strive for, is just to be a better trader every day, not make more money.
Yeah.
And I find that with that attitude, I make more money. It's kind of weird, but it makes sense.
So what do you think about the flashy image that Tim Sykes has with the McLaren and the fancy toys that he shows on the internet? Is that ever going to be you?
I think had it been maybe 5 years ago, before I was married and had children and stuff like that, it would have been a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe then I could see myself in some bachelor pad somewhere, with
right.
like a Lamborghini or something. But now it'll probably just be, once my kids graduate and move away, I'll get some sweet sports car at that point.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what do you want to be remembered for?
I think just being helpful to other people. I really enjoy passing on any knowledge I have, which even for me, I don't feel like it's that much. Like even, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. I don't feel like I know that much. I'm so new, you know, it's been a year and a half of this journey so far. So, but I do know that I can help new traders. Like I do know that I can cut through a lot of BS for them. So I enjoy answering questions for, you know, people in like the challenge chat and whatnot. I also find that teaching and passing on the knowledge helps solidify my own personal knowledge. Like when you teach someone, it kind of reinforces certain things that maybe I'm getting away from, or you know, be it cutting losses quickly or whatever else it is. Make sure I go through the filings. Sometimes I'll get lazy. And when I'm telling other people you have to go through the filings, it reminds me, oh yeah, I have to go through the filings. So certain things, I think just, you know, being kind of like a helpful guy who's willing to help others, and for maybe being humble. You know, I don't think I'll ever get ahead of myself or think that I know more than I do, or like pretend like I am some amazing like magic trader or something like that who has like all the answers. Because I know like something could happen and wipe me out. You never know. You know, I don't know. And that's one of the reasons I trade so safe. I don't take huge size because I know that 1 in a million chance that something crazy happens. I don't ever want to be wiped out of this. I love it too much to like let something like one trade wipe me out. So that's why I'm just going to keep going kind of slow and steady. I mean, it seems like really fast to most people, I guess. But for me, it's just slow and steady, and I'm going to keep taking my same position sizes for now. And I'm really comfortable with the money I'm making, so it's been awesome. It's been a great journey so far. I mean, I couldn't imagine like, you know, all the things that have happened so far.
Do you consider yourself inspirational to aspiring traders?
People say that a lot,
yeah,
and it makes me feel funny.
It does?
Yeah, I mean, every day.
It seems like it would make you feel a little uncomfortable, just your personality,
yeah,
but I can feel it. I feel inspired, and I'm sure that they can feel it too.
Yeah, it does. It makes me a little uncomfortable, but I've accepted it, what it is at this point. Yeah. And so I feel like if I'm in this position, then I need to help other people. So that's kind of my wife at times. She doesn't want me to not waste my time, but she, you know, I answer almost every question anyone asks me ever, like Twitter and Instagram, and it's like a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And if I have an answer that I think I know, then I'll try to answer it. If not, I'll try to point someone in the right direction at least. Yeah, it is a little awkward for me, but I've accepted what it is. But
awesome.
I don't think of myself that way.
Well, it's inspired me. Thank you, Roland, very much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, Tim Sykes, Millionaire Mentor and Trader. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope that they help you. I want to share everything that I've learned over the years. You can check out more videos right over there. And also click subscribe so that you can watch all of these videos, get that knowledge, and become my next millionaire student.